What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day over on Twitter, I saw a post by T-Dog that actually made me chuckle quite a bit. Now, again, I don't know what their opinions were back in the day, but ever since World War II went ahead and re-released over on Game Pass, the community has just been turning absolutely up right now, which is hilarious to me because if you guys remember when World War II first came out, oh boy, it was the complete opposite reaction from the community. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, we'll probably be dabbling in some Splitgate 2, as you can see here in the background footage. I haven't really touched Call of Duty in, quite some time due to a lot of the cheating problems. I've been waiting for them to get their crap under control, but who knows when that's actually going to go ahead and happen. So of course, if you guys want to catch me play some Splitgate, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, I saw a post by T-Dog over on Twitter saying, "Are me and It's Hunter TV cooking?" And I believe it was in the comment section of a YouTube video saying, "COD World War II over BO6, and Hunter TV saying, "I agree." And throughout all the comments under this post, and funny enough, Modern Warzone kind of, pushed this tweet out a bit further by asking his own audience, and again, under that post as well. Tons of people flooding in saying, "Yes, I agree, World War II is this, it's great that, it's phenomenal." And all I can think in the back of my head is, how is this even being said now? Now, I gotta agree, I don't think Call of Duty World War II is, completely awful. And if anything, it's the closest thing that we have had to a classic style Call of Duty game in ages. But boy, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, when World War II first dropped, right after the jetpack phase, it was overly hated to the max. People were devastated that we didn't have unlimited sprint and we had the classic sprint system. Nobody liked the HQ, although it wasn't that bad of a concept. And I'm not going to say nobody did, because I personally know a lot of people who did enjoy the HQ. But boy, oh boy, when it came down to what everybody hated about World War II, the HQ was definitely in there. Basically, so many factors, even the map designs in Call of Duty World War II, were absolutely dunked on. And now fast forward to current date, this game drops on Game Pass, and everybody and their mother is saying how awesome World War II is, how great of a concept the HQ is, how great the map designs are, how great the flow of the overall game is. It's just, oh man, when I tell you the Call of Duty cycle boggles my mind to the max degree. It's one of the main reasons why it's so hard to even want to really discuss Call of Duty, because it's the same thing every single year. A game drops, everybody hates the absolute crap out of it, and then a year later, people go back and they start revisiting it, maybe because the matchmaking brackets are lower or whatever it is, and now everybody starts to enjoy it again. It happened with Modern Warfare 3 for me. Modern Warfare 3, I really enjoyed that game. I thought Sledgehammer absolutely cooked. They did a phenomenal job. They had outstanding content drops. Their original map ideas were phenomenal. But all year, that game got crapped on. Everybody said the map designs were the worst of the worst. Everybody said the gameplay loop was absolutely awful. Everybody said that Sledgehammer put out awful updates. Although they didn't, out of all the development teams, they communicated the most with their audience and made sure that they put out meaningful updates. I covered each and every one of them. If you guys want to see, I have a whole playlist of Modern Warfare 3 videos where I go over all the updates, all the everything basically, content drops. You guys can just see, what I was saying and how people were reacting. I was called a moron. I was called an idiot. I was called a shill for enjoying such a game. And again, a year later now, here we are, and Modern Warfare 3 is being praised for being one of the best new generation Call of Duty games to have ever dropped. Now, out of nowhere, the content system that they had for us, where they were dropping weekly drops, now it's good. Again, back in the day, when I was praising that system, people called me an idiot. Now, fast forward current date, it's the best system known to mankind. Amazing. Every Call of Duty game should go ahead and mimic it. Back in the day, I got called a moron for enjoying all the maps. Fast forward current date, now all the maps are absolutely outstanding, and Sledgehammer is cooking, and they know how to go ahead and design good maps. Like I said, this cycle is mind-boggling, and I promise you, I am willing to put money on this right now. Black Ops 6 is in a rough spot, and that is never going to change my mind. The DLC maps have been getting better and better, and sadly, I haven't even bothered trying out Fringe. Like I said, it's been a while since I played Black Ops 6 because, as I stated before, I wanted to cover it, but how many times can I keep repeating the same thing over and over again? We already know they're not going to upgrade the events. We already know they're not going to give us any more meaningful content. All the stuff that's given to us has been pre-planned and pre-made way ahead of schedule. So as much as we complain, we're not going to see results until the next COD game. So, I don't know. I just don't really see much reason. Maybe I will when Season 5 comes on through. I have no clue. But again, as I was stating, Black Ops 6 has a motherload of problems, but I guarantee that when Black Ops 7 comes out, everybody's going to claim Black Ops 7 has the worst maps, Black Ops 7 is a buggy mess, so on and so forth, and then everybody's going to start praising Black Ops 6. I'm willing to put money on this. People might deny it now, but I hope you guys go ahead and revisit this video later down the road. I guarantee they're going to say, oh, Treyarch did amazing updates, although they didn't. It took 3 seasons, maybe even more, to even get the Jackal meta nerfed. I mean, my God, it took forever to get the meta changed. Modern Warfare 3 didn't have that problem. Modern Warfare 3 fixed the meta before the Season 1 drop. So, Sledgehammer was on a roll, but again, they didn't get any respect, and so on and so forth. But back to the topic again. They're going to say that Black Ops 6 had a great support. They're going to say, oh, the maps weren't that bad in Black Ops 6. Although we have the worst map rotation out of any Call of Duty game right now because they are tiny. They are tiny as ever. But I guarantee when we go over and get bigger maps, if they do decide to do bigger maps, who knows? They'll probably, stick with the smaller map mentality because that's probably their safest bet, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. But if we do see anything bigger or anything of that sort, I guarantee people are going to bounce back and say, oh, well, Black Ops 6 had amazing map designs and, all the, like, Babylon and all these other maps are just phenomenal in Black Ops 6. I promise you that the opinion on this game will completely shift just like every single Call of Duty game in the past. It's just so fascinating to observe how people are critiquing World War II now, when literally the game was crapped on so badly that the developers literally had to overhaul the whole game of World War II, okay? Guess what? If people enjoyed it and if people didn't talk crap about it, they would have never overhauled it, right? I'm just saying, but it got so much negative feedback that the initial head devs over at Sledgehammer got replaced out, they got moved to different departments, and they overhauled the whole game with how much negative criticism that game got. And now people out of the blue are saying it was the best game, it launched in a great spot, maps absolutely outstanding, this game is just phenomenal. You can't make it up. The Call of Duty cycle it's definitely something special. Even when it comes down to Black Ops 7, I don't really have high expectations because Activision seems to not really care about servers anti-cheat, even, lowering down the skill-based matchmaking at all for their audience. So, of course, I feel like people are going to still be a tad bit skeptical. But watch, if they bring back the Modern Warfare 3 system, where we get non-stop content updates, tons of, things to grind for, and there's always a reason to log back into the game every single week, I guarantee people are still going to talk crap about it. They're going to talk down on this feature. They're going to say it's trash. They're going to say that, Treyarch or Sledgehammer, whoever is putting all this stuff together, is doing absolutely no work. And then a year later after Black Ops 7, when Modern Warfare 4 comes on out, they're going to hop back and say, oh, Black Ops 7 had such a great content progression path. Oh, they put out really meaningful updates. Oh, this, that, and the third. And to be honest with you guys, I think it really boils down to just skill-based matchmaking. I think that when a game is in its prime and all the sweats are on, grinding it out, that kind of alters what a person's opinion on the game is going to be, and they can't really see any of the positives that the developers have put forward here. And there's always positives, right? The devs don't just make absolute garbage every single year around, or else, people won't be coming back to these games like World War II, Modern Warfare 3, and all these different titles saying, oh, there actually is some decent things, right? The devs do some decent stuff. Activision is usually the main reason it's held back when it comes down to all the horrible problems and practices that are going on within the game. But I do believe that, when skill-based matchmaking is, I don't know if it's necessarily toned back in older games or if it's just because the player numbers aren't as high as they were day one. Regardless, whatever it is, that's when you start seeing people actually say, oh, this game is enjoyable. When they're not sweating their butts off and they're not, competing like their life is on the line. That is when people start opening up their eyes and saying, the game isn't bad. It just, like I said, it blows my mind. How could people say that Modern Warfare 3 was horrible, the worst thing in the world, and when it was the main thing in its life cycle, and then a year later it's the best thing in the world? The only thing I could think of is, again, the matchmaking is toned back. People can actually hop in and play the game without having to worry about people competing, like I said, like their lives are on the line. And that allows them to truly see what Sledgehammer put together and how much effort they put forward to make sure they showed love to the multiplayer side of the community. I don't know. I don't know what the main reason is for why this always happens on a year-to-year basis, but I just thought it was absolutely comical to see so many people turning up with World War II now, especially after all the hate that it got to the point where, like I said, the devs had to overhaul the game just to build trust with their community again. It's crazy that now it's being rated the best Call of Duty experience ever, but I guess at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm more so curious to hear what you guys have to say about World War II. Have any of you guys even downloaded it? Have any of you guys even given it a shot? Again, I hear it's really risky on PC, so I'm assuming the majority of people who are playing it right now are on console. But I'm curious what you think of the overall experience. Do you think the game is good? Do you think it's bad? And were you one of the few people who actually enjoyed World War II in the beginning and, you actually thugged it out until the end? Or do you think that your opinion has shifted over time to, what it is now, current date? But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget subscribing at that bell. I post to your daily at 8 Eastern Time. And, of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But, as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.